All right, welcome everybody. This is Coach Mark, founder of Opportunity Launch, and I am real excited about this call. I can tell you everything that I've been doing to really, create a system to put in place to help people launch their businesses. Really, I would say that the cornerstone, has finally arrived with what we're going to be discussing today. And I'm definitely proud, to be partnered and really honored to work with someone like-minded that really is about helping people. And I have with us online the wealth and tax guru, Mr. James Harnsberger, who's I'll let you tell him himself about what he does. James, are you there?
I am here, Coach Mark. How are you?
Oh, terrific. Thank you. I'm just real honored and excited about what things are going to come, the things I'm going to learn, and the things that, your business is going to do to even help Opportunity Launch as a whole. But, thousands of people in our membership, approaching 20,000 now members in our organization that have, used our tools to reach out to them and let them know now what's going to become available to them, in regards to how to set up their businesses properly, and us helping them grow that business. And just want to share a little bit about our audience, about yourself, James. I know you have the title, enrolled agent, and that's an interesting identification that I'm not familiar with. Would you mind telling us first a little bit about, your credentials with an enrolled agent, please?
Yeah, my pleasure. And I got to just say, Coach Mark, I am just so excited to be working with you in our program, working with all the fine things that you've been doing. And I just can't wait to get started in helping as many people as we possibly can. Just real quickly, an enrolled agent was actually created by an act of Congress in 1872, and they prosecuted Civil War claims for the government because there was a lot of fraud going on. Somebody lost 7 stallions, and it was actually an old mare. And so the Congress had created this position under the Department of Treasury called an enrolled agent, and it still stands today. That means that I have to take 3 very extensive examinations that cover all aspects of federal taxation, and then I have to be pass those and be admitted to practice before the Internal Revenue Service, undergo an extensive financial background and tax compliance background check to make sure that I'm in compliance with the tax laws. And it allows me to represent clients before the IRS in disputes, collections, levies, audits, examinations, appeals, due process hearings, in every aspect of federal representation. And I'm not limited by state jurisdiction. I can operate in any state in the union and represent any taxpayer, corporation, LLC. I've been in the tax industry for a little bit more than 30 years, a little bit more than half my life, and work with a lot of very wealthy clients and business owners, and we created this reach to use the credentials and have a team of enrolled agents on our team. We have some accountants, we have CPAs, we have technicians. We just got a lot of power behind that to help you with this program.
Thank you. So definitely we are excited again to have someone of your caliber and experience and expertise to, really guide and navigate people. I know a lot of people, have seen, one of our marketing materials or in the post or something about, obviously getting $50,000 worth of credit, which we'll be talking about later. But really one of the basis is, when a lot of people say, I'm starting my own business, I'm working from home, and they really have not really capitalized on, keeping more of what they earn. And as you've seen kind of in the industry of people working from home, a lot of them, because they didn't know the knowledge, when they become super successful, find themselves in trouble because they didn't set up things properly, maybe shouldn't even incorporate at all or what they should do instead. And can you kind of speak to that, what you do to help people cross those I's, dot those T's, and, build their business?
Well, You know, Coach Mark, I got to tell you, you bring up a very important point, and it's one of the burrs in my saddle. I, as a professional, and by the way, I've got quite a bit of legal training too. I graduated in the 90s with my paralegal credentials and did an internship for about 1,000 hours in the tax law office. And it's with that knowledge and that experience, and I get frustrated seeing exactly what you're talking about. That, you know, people get advice that's so-called expert advice, and I get those clients 2, 3, 4 years down the road when everything's blown up, and they've got a collection officer at the IRS or the enforcement division or the exam division after them, and all we're doing is triage, trying to save the patient, and everything has been done wrong. And this is why I was so impressed about your effort and what your program is doing, because you're taking it from the ground up and building that solid foundation of knowledge, which I think is critical. You take that man or woman out there that has that family business or that home-based business, and I guarantee you they don't know half of the opportunities that they have in front of them if they would just take a little bit of time, get up to speed, and have an expert actually work with them to help them decide what's the best way to form my business structure. And you know, that's one of the reasons why I created this course, making it available to the Opportunity Launch crowd, is because I want you to know that there are more than one way to do business, and how you do business and how you decide to do business is going to forever decide how you're going to get taxed. And that's a very big deal that we need to spend probably a lot of time working with people to help them understand that they've got more than one option.
Yeah, that, you know, is invaluable, you know, as I know, you know, because you know, that statement a lot of people say, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. And
Amen.
there's a lot of people that, you know, don't really understand those strategies. So I'm real excited, you know, again, now tell us about, you know, a lot of people when they are doing a home base or so forth, they are, you know, saying, you know, should they even incorporate or really setting up a business properly? You know, just what are some of the tips of the iceberg of, you know, the different types of businesses and foundations that a lot of people never, you know, get set up correctly?
Oh, that's a great question, Coach Mark. Let's start with the different business structures. It's actually I think that's secret number 5 in the secrets to wealth through tax planning that I talk about. But you can do business as a sole proprietor, and you'll file a little Schedule C on your personal tax return. And when you do that, you're exposing yourself at the federal level to at least a minimum of 2 taxes. You're going to be taxed first at 15.3% on the profits of your business, and then those profits, along with all your other income, will be taxed on the ordinary income marginal rate bracket, whatever you're in, 15% up to 39.6%. So you get the privilege of being a sole proprietor and paying the highest amount of tax possible. Then you can do a single member LLC, and LLC, by the way, stands for Limited Liability Company, not Limited Liability Corporation. It is not a corporation. You can elect to tax it like a corporation, but it is not a corporation. And it gets taxed the same way as a sole proprietorship. And then if you have a husband and a wife that are doing business in the same business, the default tax treatment for that configuration is they are automatically treated as a partnership, again, subject to self-employment tax on their profits respectively, unless they make a marital joint venture election. Then you have a corporation, and the corporation is always starting out as a normal C Corp, and you make an election to tax it as an S Corp. And a C Corp is very simple. It gets taxed at the corporate tax rates on all of its profits. And then when you pass those profits through to the owners of the corporation in the form of dividends, they get taxed again. So you have 2 layers of taxation for a C corporation, and we have the distinction in America of having the highest corporate tax rates in the entire world. An S corporation, those profits pass through to you to your personal return, and they're not subject to self-employment tax. They're only subject to your marginal income tax, and if they're passive profits, then they're taxed a little bit more favorably. But I caution everybody with a corporation and a business, you have other rules that you have to be aware of in terms of compensation and taking salary and due diligence and things like that. But that's what my course in the Opportunity Launch family is going to be able to get that course and really get the nuts and bolts and understand all these different ways that you can do business. And I think the only way to decide how a person should do business is to simply take advantage of a free consultation, let us get some basic information, and then we'll give you the best options and design. And this is where I think it's very different. Building a corporation, Coach Mark, is like building a custom home, not like a track home. It's a custom corporation that fits that client like a glove.
Wow. You know, and that definitely just brings us to, you know, what is attracting a lot of people, something that they've never heard. And I know you know a lot of, you know, secrets and strategies of the wealthy that a lot of people don't know. And, you know, what's attracted everybody is just really, you know, it's really above their mindset because they don't know anyone who's done it. They haven't been associated with anyone who can do it. And now it may seem too good to be true to really, you know, build a corporation and get that type of credit. Can you speak to the reality of that situation to the person who has that real mindset when we talk about what we're here to help people do with the secrets of the wealthy?
You know, and again, Coach Mark, I think you bring up a very good point, especially in today's world with, I mean, there are so many pinheads out there with scam here, scam there, and I just go back to my, you know, my childhood. I mean, I was the oldest of 10 kids. I grew up in the poorest neighborhood in San Diego. We were so poor I had to play with my shadow because we couldn't afford toys. But I learned that when I could do something for somebody that didn't want to do it, and I get paid for that, I found a way out, and I found a way up. And credit is the same way. It works the same way. But when it's working for an individual, what you have to understand is they're going to take all that history, and they're going to give you a score called a FICO score. You got a bunch of stuff that's on there that probably doesn't need to be on there or shouldn't be on there, and you're fighting that battle all the time. Corporate credit works very differently because a corporation is a separate legal person. It can enter into contracts, it can hire people, it can fire people, it can do anything that you can do legally, and it's a separate person apart and separate from you. It can establish its own credit, and it can establish its own credit score, and that's not called a FICO, it's called a Paydex score. And the highest you can get on a Paydex score is 80, which I guess the equivalent would be a 890 on a FICO, and it's really not that difficult to accomplish. You establish a Dun & Bradstreet, which is what we help people do through the broker that we work with, and they've been doing it for 23 years. They're experts in the field. They came from the credit and banking industry, and once that Dun & Bradstreet is set up, then they help you get, you know, somewhere between 3 to 5 trade accounts, then build another layer of maybe 4 to 6 merchant accounts. Merchant accounts would be like maybe a Home Depot card for, I've got one that when we did the program, I got a $9,000 Home Depot card and a $7,000 Lowe's card, and I think a $5,000 Staples card. So I got those merchant accounts. And then once that layer is built, then you're looking to build that third layer, and these are called business lines or open lines or lines of credit. When I mention those terms, think of cash. If you have an open line or a business line, like I have a business line right now, I got mine through Wells, and right on the card it says business line. It's a Wells Gold MasterCard, and it has, I believe this one has a $50,000 limit on this card. So I could go down to the car dealer tomorrow and buy a car and put it on my Gold card if I wanted to. Now that wouldn't be very smart, but I could do that. I have another open line of credit on one account that's $100,000, and if I needed to move money into my payroll account, let's say tomorrow I got to run payroll and I need $20,000, I would just transfer that money into my payroll account, and then I would process my payroll, and then when my receivables come in next week, I would just pay that line of credit back. So when I'm talking about business lines, open lines, or open lines of credit, it's a function of cash. And this process doesn't work by going down and having tea with your banker, because traditional banking doesn't work like that anymore. Micro lending is where all of the money is at, and there's billions of dollars out there that if you're a valid legal corporation and you're established and have a legitimate business, it's not that difficult to put this kind of a program together and help you build that foundation and then help you build that credit profile so that you can have working capital and access to those resources that are important for your business.
Absolutely, and I myself, my background actually being a manager for Wells Fargo Bank, actually.
I love Wells.
Yeah, so I know definitely what you're talking about on that side of the table. And as I worked on that side of the table, working for a company, seeing the amounts of money, obviously, that people were generating, I knew I was in the wrong industry, and that's when I set out to start my own business. And,
Amen.
And had I known the things that you're teaching, wow, it'd be amazing where it'd be. So I'm real glad that we can, bring this to people. And I know a lot of what we said for some people may already be intimidating. S corp, C corp, 15%, all those types of things. But repetition is the best teacher. And what I like is that with your course, it's not something you got to go sit and have a dictionary and figure out. There's also monthly training that you do as well. And
weekly too. Yeah, weekly. Coach Mark, you're absolutely right, because knowledge, knowledge is power. Once you have knowledge, you have power. Nobody can take it away from you. So we believe, like you do, that you've got to repeat that, the podcast. You can keep listening to it. If you still don't understand, we can help you understand, but you're right. And we've decided to ramp that up, and we're now doing that weekly.
Wow. And so definitely that, with even the daily training that we have, there's going to be a lot of support and materials to really guide, people through, and, only a lot of people, we've heard the statement, it takes money to make money, and certainly to learn these types of things that have eluded most people because of the cost of these types of services in the past. I know you don't want to share, all of the wealth that you've accumulated, I'm sure, with what it takes to handle a wealthy client, how much they pay for these types of services, but certainly even the value of your course. What has been the going price that you've charged for, this information to clients in the past?
Yeah, you make a very good point. When I was doing this program in a seminar, it was a 2-day workshop seminar, and I was charging about $1,900. And then there was an enrollment, and these were tax professionals and business owners, and then they would enroll in an annual coaching program for about $20,000 a year. Then we moved to a different model and scaled it down a little bit, make it a little bit more affordable. And we did that for a couple of years, and I think we were probably somewhere around maybe $1,400 for the program. And then recently we priced it to try to make it more market appealable and streamlined with some technology where we could make more efficient and bring that savings to the end user. And so we've got a price, right now at about $899. But the thing that made me, most, most excited was the opportunity to work with you, Coach Mark, because I think working with a family of people that are like-minded, that are going in the same direction, the scales of economy become much more efficient. And so you and I sat down and we kind of hammered it out. And I'll let you explain it, but we actually came up with I think a much better program in terms of the price points and in terms of the exclusive value that we're going to give to everybody in the Opportunity Launch family.
Yeah, and I was really honored with that, because when I came across your information I mean, from those price points, certainly the value from what I know, seeing other people who are trying to sell still similar information at those price points, $500 is definitely well worth it. You're going to save that much and more. And certainly lots of people in our industry are doing what we call auto ships and things like that they don't even know, that they could, actually be including that in their exemptions, for $50 a month
absolutely.
or more.
Yeah.
For a $500 price is very reasonable, but then, even $50 monthly is something that a lot of people I know that, they pay that much to get in on the founder's launch or, to a presidential package. They pay that much and more all the time with a higher monthly commitment. So that value for your course that you're offering it to the public currently, I know that that's well worth it. But again, trying to reach out and help what, some people have titled the little guy, I look to work with people and promote things that, really can, be that low-hanging fruit that more people can get involved with. So, I'll let you announce, what you've agreed to based on, what Opportunity Launch is trying to do. And from your 500 course and the $50 monthly, what did you agree to hand out? They probably won't believe it hearing it from me.
Yeah, absolutely, and not a problem. And look, and go back. I want to go back to one thing you said. The little guy. That was one of the reasons why that and call it inspiration, call it whatever you want to call it. But I believe that God gave me a lot of skill and talent, and I've been very blessed my whole life. And I have always had the desire and the passion to touch the lives of 1 million men and women in a positive way and take this in some way that I could do something. And I think I finally reached the point in my life, my professional career, where I can do more for more people. And it's that little guy, if you will. I was the little guy, and it's that little guy, that man, that woman that's out there that's struggling to try to put the things together and keep that business going that I think we can do the most help for. And I would much rather work with 1,000 people like that than a millionaire that I love my millionaire clients, but, frankly, the people that need this the most are the people that grew up the way I did. And that's kind of coming full circle for me. So what we decided to do, and we've had quite a few discussions to get to this point, we're gonna make this available exclusively and only to the Opportunity Launch family. An entry point to sign up for $247 one-time sign-up fee. And hold your breath, because I had to hold my breath, but we agreed, and so we're going to do it. $15 a month. In the first 2 months, I'm just going to take and pay out of my own pocket. I will cover the first 2 months out of my own pocket, and you don't have to worry about it till the third month, and then it's only $15. That's like Starbucks for 2 days.
That's amazing, I'm telling you. And, I just want to share with people, again, you shared your heart and passion and, why we're doing these things. This is for, a limited time, so, obviously you can't, discount as the membership grows to give the service, it's first mover's advantage. And, with going half off of that price for people, and then, a lot of people, are just not aware of the sacrifices we make to help others. Certainly, like I said, the value of this is, definitely well above that. But right now, locking people in to only a $15 monthly for continued training of information of this magnitude, it's definitely unheard of. So the holidays have come early, and will be continuing for those who get started at this price.
Absolutely, and as long as they're part of the program, and as long as we've got a program, and I have a pulse and a breath, that $15 a month will never change. And something to your credit, Coach Mark, because the passion that you had when we've had those conversations and had those long discussions about all the things that you were trying to do, I mean, that really struck a chord with me, and I really feel like, this is really the right thing to do. There's so many people that you're trying to help. I just want to be part of that, and I'm the one that's honored and proud to be part of that. And so if I can do something to make a limited time offer like this available and get as many people involved in participating and do this and lock that in. If they can get in now, then we'll honor that. But it's really your heartfelt desire to help these people that really pushed it over the top for me.
Thank you. And lastly, just something I'm real excited about. I know you can speak a little more to this because you haven't let the cat out the bag for me yet. Really teaching people to really change their mindset about money is certainly important. The way we see things, the way we understand things. From a marketing perspective, I've been able to make that paradigm shift for people to really understand, what it really means to market and build a business from what they thought, and how to build wealth. A lot of people need that paradigm shift, and I know there's a popular book that I've recommended, and it's changed my perspective, called The Richest Man in Babylon. And I was just talking about possibly starting to share those principles with people the day before I met you, which I don't count anything coincidence.
No.
And I know you're putting together some powerful things that we'll be able to actually offer for free, and also as an added bonus for the people in the program. Can you share a little bit? I know, I've been biting to get that information, but can you share a little bit about what you're going to be doing and helping people change and understand their mindset about money?
Absolutely, and I am so honored to have this opportunity as well. We've been working with the publisher and that puts the book out that was written by Mr. Clayson back in the 1920s, and The Richest Man in Babylon. I have probably in my career, I've probably given away 300 or 400 copies of that book. I hope, in talking with the publisher, that I can give away 10,000 copies of that book next year, because we've got a program that is based on the principles espoused in that book and from the clay tablets that the archaeologists had found in Babylon. And these principles really talk about your understanding and the fundamentals of creating and preserving your wealth. And really where I come from in that standpoint is a recognition that we have such financial illiteracy. The schools do a terrible job at everything in terms of financial literacy, and we have an entire population right now that we really need to help understand their relationship with money and understand, really ask yourself, do you really understand your relationship with your money? And most people don't. Most people have a fear of money. Believe it or not, when you talk to psychologists, that is a common trait. And that fear is subconscious, and it holds us back from being able to take that next step. If we could just break through that fear that we have of our own money or the lack of money. And see, that's even more dangerous, because that's what you attract, is the more lack of money. And so these principles that are espoused in the parables and the stories in The Richest Man in Babylon are time-tested over thousands of years. And they're still true today. All of my wealthy clients will tell you the same thing. They've read that book, they practice those principles, and we have developed an outline and a course that we're going to partner with the Opportunity Launch family, and we're going to be working with Coach Mark to bring that to the marketplace, and you're going to have the first opportunity to take advantage of this. And we're going to have these workshops, these podcasts, these course materials, help you understand your personal budget, help you set up your personal budget. I am just so excited that we're going to have this opportunity.
Man, it's, I forgot the statement, you are who you hang around.
Absolutely.
And, spiritually it goes another way. Birds of a feather flock together.
Yep, absolutely. Amen. Amen.
And I'm looking forward to learning, at your feet. You definitely are the wealth and tax guru, and you're definitely my mentor in this financial industry, and going to be so many others. If you've enjoyed what the wealth and tax guru James Harnsberger has talked about already in the corporate credit program, and the training course about money from an experienced person with as an enrolled agent even before they had CPAs or something, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we are definitely in a privileged place to have someone willing to share this information way below wholesale at this time. He's even developed a website for us that you most likely will see connected here, and then you can purchase your particular training course right on the site for the 1047. While the price says 247, that means it's available. When that price is not available, then it won't say 247. So definitely, you see the button there, get involved, get started now, and definitely you'll be invited to our future continued training calls. One of the things that he's sharing on a weekly basis, and the monthly training and support, and definitely your New Year's resolutions for changing your finances.
Absolutely, and we're coming up on that. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, it'll finally be achieved with the knowledge that you need. So, James, I'm honored. I'm excited. I'm happy. I feel your passion and concern for the people. Just can't wait to get started and introduce more people to you. Anything last that you want to share before we close the call?
I always want to share this message. I do it every day. It's my commitment to share this message, and I ask everybody just to remember one very simple principle in life. Every day, remember in prayer to thank God for what you have before you ask God for what you need.
Wow. Repeat that one more time, please.
I sort of live my life by this principle.
Yes.
Every day in your prayer, you thank God for what you have before asking God for what you need.
Wow. Well, guys, James Harnsberger, and my closing words for everybody with Opportunity Launch definitely is 6 principles that go along with what he said, and that is before you pray, believe. And before you speak, listen. Before you spend, save. Before you write, think. Before you quit, try. And before you die, live. With that, folks, we will see you on our next training call, all the course members learning and earning together. Good night, James. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.